Alright, a while back I posted a inward scream video, and I wanted to learn how to do an outward scream. I learned it. Bored, want to pass this on to you. My first tip would probably be, if you really want to learn, go buy Melissa Cross's 2 DVDs. They helped me out. That's pretty much how I learned them. But if you want to be cheap, because it was about $40 to buy both of them. But if you want to be cheap, listen to me. I can't teach it, but I can give you some good tips on it. Tip number 1. Everybody says this, learn to use your diaphragm. It's true, but no one really explains how to do it. I probably won't do it for you guys either. But the diaphragm is a thing you poop with, or to use it, you use it the way you poop. But don't do the mistake I did and almost crap yourself trying to scream. It's subtle depending on how you want to do it. Melissa Cross's DVD says that there's 3 types of screams. There are. I can only do one of them. There's the false chord, the fry, and the death. The false chord is the one that would use, the one that I'm trying to teach you right here. It'll use the false chords, which if these are your true chords, their false chords are up here. Your true chords are down here. They'll be used for fry. They require less of your diaphragm, or your dump, which Melissa Cross calls it. And they cause less wear and tear. But it's a softer pitch than a softer tone than the fry or the false chords up here. And then you've got death, which is one-toned, requires the most dump, and I haven't been able to do it. I've been told I'm able to do it, but I don't think so. I can't get it that low. But not trying to stray too far off. What I'm going to be teaching you is the fry, and your dump is going to be your key thing. Everybody tells you to learn how to breathe. Really and truly, if you just think breathing through your stomach, if you breathe using your stomach, you know, the whole in and out through your stomach, don't let your chest rise, just your stomach. That, after a little while, becomes second nature. I found myself now talking using my diaphragm. Just the more you use it, the more it becomes second nature, the more you really don't think about it. So just practice talking with your diaphragm, practice breathing with your stomach, just using all these different methods to go about how you normally do things. So when you talk with somebody, don't use your vocal cords to produce what you would normally do. Normally you use your lungs and then you push out all the air with. Normally you would use your lungs to push out the air through your vocal cords, and then you go out like that. But start using your diaphragm or your dump to push out the air, because it'll do the same thing. And just push out the air using that. You'll feel a difference. You'll notice a difference, and eventually that will become second nature to you. That won't be so hard for you to do once you're trying to scream, because if you just try to scream using your diaphragm, it feels weird. You don't know what you're doing. You won't know what you're doing. You won't know how you're doing it. The next thing you should do is, when you're doing it, you're going to do it wrong. Everybody says, well, you don't want to hurt yourself. I had to rip my throat up, and I couldn't talk for a couple of days learning this. But once I did it wrong, I knew what not to do. I say you probably have to at least hurt yourself once, so that you know what not to do, so that you won't hurt yourself. I found the best thing that I had to do to learn how to scream was, since I knew that what I was wanting for was, I was wanting the false chord scream, because I didn't know exactly what fry was. I didn't know how to get this pitch, because Melissa Cross goes through it on her DVD, but it went over my head. I'm not very technical with my musical knowledge. I don't know how voices works or anything. I just knew that I wanted to be able to scream, and I could understand that my false chords were above my true chords. And if anybody's ever gotten really pissed off and screamed, they'll notice that the sound doesn't come from the middle of your throat that vibrates when you talk. You'll notice that it feels a little bit different and it comes from up here. What these things do is, as you're screaming, like actually pissed off screaming, these things push together to protect your true chords and create the vibrations itself. So when you're screaming, a lot of pressure is coming from down here, your dump or your diaphragm, and the power is coming from up here. So it's pushing it together because you're feeling very aggressive. And all of this is building up, and it goes straight to here, and you're screaming it out. And so it produces a very loud and a very powerful but coherent tone. What you're wanting to do with this is to create that same effect, make your body feel like you're about to scream, actually scream at something. But instead, you're going to push less air out. That way, when they push together, it creates a rasp and almost like you've got gravel in your throat, but it's not going to rip it up. You're using your false chords to push together, but they're not going to make that solid contact that it normally happens when you're getting angry and yelling. So what you're thinking about is applying a decent amount of pressure to make it feel like you're yelling at something, but you're not going to create that loud yell, because that'll screw your throat up. Again, as I said, you're going to hurt yourself at least once, or you should know what you're doing, but I'm not saying that you need to do it. I'm not saying that you need to hurt yourself, but I'm saying that it will be beneficial, so you know what to do or what not to do. Once you've got those two down, just apply enough pressure. You really shouldn't have to think too much about it, and once you keep doing it, it's just going to become second nature. But you just press with your diaphragm, your dump, push air out, think up in your throat, think up. And then using your mouth to create whatever noise you want, you'll make a sound. Whatever sound it'll be. It can be high-pitched, it can be low-pitched, or it can be your normal. But just use your mouth. Don't use your mouth and your throat to create a passageway for it to make a sound. It shouldn't be anything different. You shouldn't have to change where your throat is positioned. You shouldn't have to... I really don't know what else you could do. But it shouldn't hurt you, and you shouldn't have to do much of anything. So just move your mouth, and it'll create certain pitches. You can see which ones you like and which ones you don't. Okay, for slight demonstrations on what something is, like my high pitches are yeah. My low pitches I do a little differently, because I can't really get lows too well, so I kind of cheat my way through it. I create an O shape, and I also push my tongue right in the middle of my mouth so that it has air going through both sides of it. That's how I get my lowest. My mid ranges are yeah. Again, stuff like that, just however you want to do it. I know there's so many different ways someone can scream. I've only got one of them. I know of a couple of people that can scream only low, but they've got a low range. And I know some people that have a very high pitch, but they've got a range in their highs. It's all in how your voice is. Everybody's got a different voice. Everybody's going to have a different scream. So go out there, learn it, don't hurt yourself too much, and have fun with it. Hopefully you get a good scream.